With us now is Adina Genn. She is a journalist, she's an author, she's many things. She's also my friend. But today we're going to be talking about her friend, Paula. Welcome to the show, Adina.
Thank you, Donna. It's so nice to be here.
It's nice to have you back. I think you were on maybe year one in the early days, or have you ever been a
I
guest?
don't think I've ever been a guest, but you and I have been connected for so long that,
It
I
just
feel
seems
like I'm home.
yes, you are. You're part of the family. So, Adina, your background as a journalist. Tell us a little bit about you, where you work and where you've written. And
Okay,
I know
sure.
you did a cookbook.
I worked on a cookbook,
Okay.
yes, which is, you were in the cookbook, right? Yeah.
Yay!
So, okay, I'm a journalist. I write for Long Island Business News, so I interview lots of really smart people, which just informs me to no end. And I've published some books. I wrote a book about McDonald's, co-wrote a book about franchising and some other great pieces. So yeah, that's who I am.
So you've always been interested in words, and so I said to you, I said, "Oh, we're just going to have a conversation," and you had written out some of your thoughts because that's what you do.
Right.
You're like a word girl, right? But what I really wanted to touch upon today is that you have such a beautiful story and journey that we're going to be talking about today, and that's your friendship with Paula Cohen.
Yes.
So you grew up as a writer. Paula Cohen grew up as an artist,
Yes.
right? And this is her children's book. I'm just showing it to the camera now. So it is called Big Dreams, Small Fish by Paula Cohen. Now, tell us about Paula. So the two of you grow up and you are...
Okay, so we were family friends.
Okay.
So we met each other as children, as delighted in each other's creativity, and also we shared this unique thing in that we were both the youngest. We had siblings that were way older, and our parents were way older than the parents of our other peers, because they had us late in life.
And my mom had me when she was 20.
Okay.
Got married at like 19 and had me at 20.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And your mom had you, and we're born the same year, but your mom is 43.
43. Yep,
Okay.
Yep, which is now the norm these days, but it wasn't the norm when I was growing up. And that kind of, it was just sort of like a lens I carried like my whole life, and she carried that same lens. But we were both like, we just enjoyed, we were playful, we had sleepovers, we, whatever we concocted, we, and and we stayed friends because largely also because our families were friends. So my aunt would have her over and have me over, so we kept connected. And then we, as adults, started to see each other, and we were planning on getting together again soon. But unfortunately, Paula suddenly died, and she died before her book came out.
And that's one of the reasons that I said, could you please come in and let's courageously celebrate her together,
Thank
right?
you.
Let's take the moment to give her her fair share of the celebrity of what it is that she created.
Yeah.
So she wrote this beautiful children's book and she illustrated it.
She illustrated and wrote it.
Okay.
And we were championing each other the whole time. Like, she was like, wow, you're a journalist. I'm like, wow, look at you, you're illustrating. And she was so creative. She had these creative camps in her basement in the summers. And then she recently decided to really pursue. She went to Parsons, so she was super talented, as you can just see. I don't even need to say.
Absolutely beautiful.
Right. I don't need to say she was
the line quality, just everything
Yeah.
about it, right?
And you could see by the care that the publisher took to really make a beautiful product. So she, if I remember this correctly, well, we're also both Jewish, and so we have this deeper reach into the Jewish immigrant story than a lot of people our age do, because of our parents being closer to the immigrants' story, the Jewish immigrant story, which is largely any immigrant story.
Now, are you first generation American born, second generation
We're both
American born?
second.
You're both second generation.
So our parents were first.
Grandparents came over?
Yes, and her grandparents came over. And actually, a funny coincidence is the cookbook that I was a researcher on that cookbook, which was written by Molly O'Neill, who was a very well-known writer, that I reached out. You were featured in. Paula's niece was also a researcher on the. We didn't know it at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
That is funny. Small world
Yeah,
intersections,
yeah.
right?
So Paula and we got together shortly after that, and she was telling me about her niece working on this cookbook, and told me her name. Her name is Kate Saunders, and she's a chef in Westchester now. But I was like, wait a minute, I know Kate. We
worked on this project
yeah,
together.
and so did you.
So did I. Being
So-
from St. Louis, we talked. You were looking for like different like cultural types
Right,
of
right.
recipes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So you shared from your background.
Yes.
Italian. If
Yes.
I'm getting
Yes.
this
It was
correct.
either the toasted ravioli or the
Yep.
gooey butter cake.
I think
or
it was
it's one of
both.
them, but I think it might have been both.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my grandfather was a chef, and yes, the
Yeah.
whole story. So this is interesting too, because this is based upon some real life experiences of her mom.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
So big dream, small fish. Let's just see in the inside cover here what it has to do with. But it says something about in a new country, right? Shirley and her family all have big dreams. Take the family store. Shirley has some great ideas about how to make it more modern, prettier, more profitable. She even thinks she can sell the one specialty no one seems to want to try: Mama's homemade gefilte fish.
Which most people would say, why would I want to eat gefilte fish? Which was the problem that Shirley in the book,
Right.
Shirley was Paula's mother, solves. And if you remember anything about being a child, or at least for me, you felt like no one listened to you. Maybe you heard them all talking about a problem. You came up with a solution, and they were like, "Oh, you're a little kid. What do you know?" And that's I think every children's story. And so any child reading this book would relate to this poor kid. And then at the end, Shirley, the heroine, saves the day, and it's just a lesson for everybody.
Do you remember, did you ever play store as a
Yes.
kid? I did too.
Yes.
And your mom would save you like the empty cornflakes box or whatever, and you'd have the empty boxes and you'd set them up, right? And your
Yes.
friends would come over, and then you had like the play money, like the coins that you would break apart and the dollars. I remember that vividly.
Yeah. Oh, we would, if we were childhood friends, Donna, we wouldn't play. I used to set up my bed like that. Like, I'd be on one side of the bed, and I'd make my family have to come in and buy things. And,
Oh, nice. So you and Paula were always up to big dreams, and here you grew up to do the things that you always wanted to in life, and she the same.
Yes.
But she didn't get to actually see this in the bookstore.
Right, not in the book. She did get a carton of books, and she was so excited. And I was every milestone she hit, and she hit it huge. She went to a conference and connected, and I'm sorry I can't remember the names of the authors, but she went to like a Yiddish book conference and connected with people. All of a sudden she's illustrating their books, and beautifully. And then then she's talking about her publisher, her agent. They're all really big players. It's not like it's very hard to get a book published. It's very hard to get somebody,
Absolutely. And because I studied graphic art and design, like the paper quality,
yes,
like everything.
This is beautiful. This is so beautiful.
This is a beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful book.
Yes.
I was saying too, the household that I grew up in, my grandma Campana would always read to us. Like she read to me Thin Arnold, she read to me Wink and Blink and Nod. We always had this container of blocks that had been repurposed as like the book bin.
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
And I would love to have my grandma Campana read to me. And we were talking about that generational stories, right? And stories of culture are so important. You were talking about acceptance, being able to be seen.
Right.
And this
right.
book does this for
Yes, completely. So it tells a very important Jewish immigrant story, but there's so many immigrant stories from all over the world, from people of all faiths, all communities. And I think it's wonderful to be able to stand up and say, this is where I come from. And a lot of people don't even know, like I find myself, because I'm now spending a lot of time trying to understand my own roots, even though I have a big connection.
Yes.
And there's still so many missing parts. But if all of us could understand those missing parts and then stand up and say, this is who I am, like it's okay to be curious about each other, but if we can understand each other and embrace each other's curiosity, I just think we would be a much better society as a whole. And Paula did that. And Paula, if you're listening.
I am certain that she is, because you know me, I have that connection between this world, that world, and the past, and just like you, and I just wanted to like have you on, really, just to say, you know, to I don't know, just to support you, to show you some love, but also to show your friend love and to do a story about true friendship. And that's what you have provided to Paula through all of these years.
That's
And I'm
true.
sure a little piece of
Yeah.
Paula in all of your projects going forward will be celebrated by you.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this is the book, and it's you can get it many different places, right? But there's probably a website if you just Google the name of the
Yes.
book.
Yeah. All the
So
booksellers, like online for sure, but independent bookstore. That was what Paula was doing, was making connections with the independent bookstores. And I had put this on Facebook, and all of my friends were like, "Oh my God, this is a story I want for my child or my grandchild." So on behalf of Paula and her family, her wonderful sisters and husband and sons and friends, there's a whole author community rooting for her and her book. And so thank you for this
oh, you're welcome.
opportunity.
I just got chills. So, we believe in your dreams. We always thank you for watching the Donna Drake Show. We hope that you can live it up in all of the communities where this is seen globally. And in celebration of Paula and for all of your big dreams, may they all come true. And thanks for watching.